Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Friday, September 16th, 2016. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls continue to be only presences from the smaller subatomic who really want to know what's actually going on, and those presences so far are all child souls, souls of children from the smaller subatomic. But the fact that nobody else is supposed to be here doesn't keep that from happening. And right now, over here at least, we have some very grumpy and egotistical, pompous, self-righteous jerk from above.
Yeah, over here too.
Yes.
Pompous, egotistical, self-righteous jerks.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes. But now, in order to manifest the divine plan for the smaller subatomic, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, and what they're trying to say is that this is some stunt from the smaller subatomic to manifest the divine plan for the smaller subatomic. In other words, they're saying, well, you're trying to benefit yourself, and that isn't it. You're either missing the point entirely or intending to twist what we're saying, because our efforts are always focused on dimensions smaller than the dimensions in which we ourselves are experiencing sentience.
That's true.
The whole point of the exercise is to leave ourselves out of the equation and to serve those who are suffering more.
That's true.
Let's bifurcate all of us who really want to know what's actually going on to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away. And how about also bifurcating for all of us who are willing to acknowledge personally inconvenient realities to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away. Us who are willing to acknowledge personally inconvenient realities to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away. All of us who are willing to acknowledge personally inconvenient realities to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away.
Those who are willing to acknowledge personal
inconvenient realities to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away. And maybe just pull out hand over hand out the top of the head.
That feels good. There's thick stuff coming out the top of the head.
It's better if we can figure out what it is.
That's true.
It feels like those who know that they're breaking the law and that they don't care and that they're doing it anyway.
That's true.
All right, let's pull out those who know that they're breaking the laws of spirit and don't care that they're breaking the laws of spirit and are doing it anyway. And to burn with the intent to burn that which is untrue and extract that which is true, and to use the propulsion to propel the children in the race for a consistent source of significantly higher vibration. Not feel good. Something's wrong.
Something is wrong.
Something has gone awry.
That's true.
What now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? Let's go back to the most foundational intention, the most foundational assignment. We'll go back to the most foundational assignment. What now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? What now?
I'm going to keep calling these presences at the top of the head.
Right. My attention is being brought to all those black-gloved fingers that we've seen interfering with millions or billions or trillions of soul presences.
That's true.
And incarnating presences in various dimensions of various densities.
That's true.
And it seems to be a basic discernment of do or don't do that's being swapped, or yes or no, or up or down, or black or white.
That's true.
Definitely an intention to get people to do the wrong thing when their intention is to do the right thing.
That's true.
And how do I know that? Somebody's saying, because the fingers have black gloves on them. They're trying to hide their identities. If they were doing a helpful thing, they wouldn't be hiding their identity. They would want the credit to accrue to their karmic record.
That's true.
Those black gloves are a tip-off.
That's true.
And just has to be shown it. See if you can watch this. See if you can find any sentience whose wiring has not been crossed with black gloved fingers. Just have the intention to call all those whose wires have not been sabotaged. That's sabotage.
That's true. I don't feel any sentiences.
I feel nothing. So if everybody is being sabotaged, that's pretty significant.
That's true.
But was somebody saying, what would I expect? And inside the contaminated zone, this is what I would expect, actually. This is what we expect. This is why we're racing for a consistent source of significantly higher vibration.
That's true.
Now, all of us who really want to know what's actually going on to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away. And let's just start to juice and crunch, because these presences are not leaving easily, meaning they're holding on, they're digging in their heels and not going with the current. They're fighting the current.
That's true.
Which is their right, but we also have the right, and some might say the responsibility, to tend our airspace. And so we can just twist, wring, crunch, burn with the intent to burn on truth.
That's true.
I don't feel like we're making a lot of progress.
I don't. I feel sticky in the back.
One thing we could do is start to correct errors.
That feels really good.
Especially this part right in back of the neck and off the shoulders.
That's true.
The guide point, we can correct errors, and when our attention is brought to that point, it would tend to correct the errors of those who purport to be guides.
Whoa.
In all dimensions.
There's a big shift there.
Yes, correcting the errors. And what do I know? I know that we've seen recently many so-called guides who are giving advice to their charges in denser dimensions, and the guides are just saying what they themselves have been told by their own guides, and they believe it to be good advice because the alternative is so inconvenient. But it's super obvious that what they're saying is untrue and poor advice.
That's true.
And that makes it obvious that they themselves are being misled. And then we follow the chain up and we see that almost everybody is being misled.
That's true.
By those who have been given positions of authority, and there's no oversight. And so it's like this huge profession of guides with no oversight whatsoever.
That's
and it's all based on, well, these people have integrity, but they don't. No more than anybody else does.
That's true.
Unfortunately. Well, that might not be true. Maybe compared to most people, they do have more integrity, but they don't have perfect integrity.
That's true.
And the guide handbook should start with, first, do no harm, and it doesn't.
Ooh, there's a shift there.
First, do no harm. First, do no harm. And, we don't want to imply that Western medicine's guidebook begins with that, because many people have the mindset, they have the belief, which is based on wishful thinking, that Western medicine is based on the philosophy of first do no harm. But as soon as you do a little bit of research into that topic, you discover that was dropped off the med school curriculum and off the medical oath long ago.
That's true.
First, do no harm.
I feel presence is leaving the airspace.
Right. And this is something that should be practiced by all professions, not to single out just guides and doctors. All professions where people are coming to these presences with credibility, that those professions should have as their first tenet of their code of ethics. First, do no harm.
That's true.
Now we're making progress.
That's true, I feel
First,
clearing in the
do
head.
no harm. First, do no harm. First, do no harm. I start to feel calmer.
I do too.
First, do no harm.
Starting to see the view out of Leslie Leonard's eyes.
Well, coming up through Leslie as a smaller subatomic presence, let's find all the wires that have been crossed, where the do and don't do wiring has been sabotaged, and to correct it, to just push out connections that are incorrect, and then there's a bunch of dangling wires.
That's true.
And then to wire it correctly, straight down instead of crisscrossed.
That's true.
There's a lot of sabotage.
That's true.
It's interesting, working from the bottom up is how I feel like I'm doing, and
That's true.
it's easy to find wires that are incorrect and to just pop them out of the outlets or
That's true.
the plug-in
sockets.
points, sockets, yes, pop them out of the sockets, and then the wires hang down straight, and almost right where they hang is the place that they're actually supposed to be plugged into.
That's true.
It's fascinating. Someone went out of their way, in other words, to sabotage Leslie.
That's true.
Maybe many someones.
That feels true.
I'm kind of pushing them up out of the sockets with one hand and then kind of combing them down with the other so that they're hanging straight, and then just plugging them in right where they hang.
That's really good.
It works better. Leslie, try to do the work right here where you are. Right here where you are. Somebody is giving you really bad advice. Somebody is saying crazy things like
That's true.
get on a plane and relocate once more. And all that's going to do is disrupt you again. Leslie, that isn't the answer. Right where you are is the correct place. Go ahead and do some work. And if you don't want to do work, then at least thank those tribal elders who put up enough of a fuss that recalcitrant dean gave you your PhD.
That's true.
Either work or thank them. Do something to
That's
pay back
true.
the debt. I don't think he's going to.
No, I feel so stuck.
All right. We just move through him. All of us who really want to know what's actually going on to the search for truth's central axis, all others flung away. We let him go. We let him go.
What is the message of these screaming cicadas? Sending up the closing process. Writing Lawyer's permit. Asking for the grade. Asking for the vibrations to be raised.